Hi, everybody. Welcome to the August 2019 Team Push Play It Forward call. This call is unique because it's not only for Push Play It Forward, but it's also for any new coaches, existing coaches, anybody in Goal Getters or Fit Warriors. And the exciting part is I'm going to open it up today and talk about a few upcoming things and things that I feel could be something you can focus on. But we also have two guest speakers, and I know that I'm excited, and I know that Jackie Dugan is excited because both of these people that are speaking are people that we've got to watch their entire journey and them evolve, and now they're talking about evolving. And so Jen K and Natalie B, Net the Brat, I don't know why I'm calling you guys stupid names, are gonna lead this call tonight and talk a lot about things that I think everybody could use in their business. I mean, one thing that's cool about coaching is you will probably hear things that you've heard before, but sometimes you'll hear it in a different way, or they're going to click for you because you finally heard things. Just as human beings, we need to hear things like 5, 6, 7 times. So I am so excited to hear from them because they're teachers, guys. So we're talking to Natalie, who just retired from teaching, where I'm calling you retired, and Jen, who's been a teacher for years and years, and they have this way about them where they have big hearts and they're love this business, and they've had so much success by themselves, even though they don't think that. We know they have, may not think that always, because we're all hard on ourselves, but we're so excited to share with you what they're going to talk about tonight. So a couple things on my end that I just wanted to discuss is that it's August. If you are a coach, you still have promo codes if you haven't used them, right? So the promo codes are a huge deal, you guys, because it's giving people an advantage on challenge packs. And speaking of challenge packs, I also just wanted to bring something up that's been talked about if you've been on the Goal Getters calls, or if you have been maybe talking with your coach. There's some information that's been coming around, and I know that our team is really, really heavily focused on challenge packs. We talk about it, we get rewarded for it. It is a huge focus in our business, and obviously it's the best return for the customers because it's the cheapest thing, and it's fitness plus nutrition plus accountability. However, I do know, because I've been around for 5 years now, that it's not the end all be all. And I don't mean that it's not important, but I do know that a lot of people tend to get frustrated, including myself. I've been in this position when they're not hitting Success Club. And so what's interesting is Christina Sullins is going to be coming out with a lot more news than this. And then Lindsay Gray has passed us along some information about how to build your revenue and meaning your income with this business with things that aren't challenge packs. Riddle me that, okay? And I know we've talked about this a little bit before, and I don't think that I've ever been a coach that's only do challenge packs. Maybe I am. If I have been, I apologize. If I haven't been enough, then here's me just admitting that. But for example, why it's such an important thing is because there's something called team volume, and I won't get a ton into it, but if you look at challenge packs as a whole, there are about 38 team volume points. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it right now. But if you're ordering something like just Shakeology or just Energize, you're actually getting more team volume points, which in return is getting you a bigger paycheck and going to create some more volume within your downline. So what I want to say is that over the next couple weeks and over the next month or so, we're going to start helping you guys prepare to make some more income and have smaller wins with things like back to school 3 months on Beachbody On Demand, because that's not a bad thing. So my point is, if you're ever feeling stuck in a conversation, what I want you to take away from me talking about this, if you ever feel stuck in a conversation, you feel like you're pushing someone towards a challenge pack and they're just not ready, go with what they're comfortable with. Create a lifer with that relationship and get them to trust you. And it's probably something that I've said before, but I don't say enough. And I'm going to share some more information with you and videos, but I just wanted to get that out there really quick and make sure that you guys weren't swoop surprised when it starts coming out from our upline and from other people, okay? Because there is a millionaire in this business who's been around with Beachbody for 20 years, and all the guys You know how when you see all the guys walk across stage at Summit and they're all millionaires, it's because they run their business like this and they don't focus on challenge packs. They focus on other things, which is crazy. Okay. So we're all like, whoa, how do we learn? Anyways, so there's that. I wanted to give you a heads up on that. I'll only take another minute or two because I don't want to take away from Jen and Nat, but I wanted to let you know too that on the 9th of September, she talked about volume and Emerald Retreat. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. That would be awesome if you shared that, Nat. Natalie just said in the chat that Christina Sullins shared a lot about volume at their Emerald Retreat, and she has a resource for that. So she can probably share it with us later, or I think you've shared that before, but it's been a while. So anyways, what I was going to say is that we are going to do a team-wide refresh on it's August now, September 9th, okay? The cool thing about this is it's actually with goal getters, so we can tag on with them or we can do our own thing, you guys. I don't really care what we do. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now and you have a lot of work to do, we can tag on with goal getters. I don't mind heading something up, but I think it's important to push this right now because we're ending the summer. It's Labor Day weekend, but also because it's the 9th, we have Labor Day weekend coming up. So that means that we got to get people in to place their orders so they're not delayed with shipping. And also it's probably that time of year where everybody's going to be ordering. So if you could just put some urgency around that, put it in the back of your mind, write it down, 3-day refresh. If you haven't hit Success Club yet, that can be something that you promote. There's also pumpkin spice coming. There is a list that was just dropped in, I think it was either the champions page or one of our leadership pages, if you guys have seen it, but it's literally like a tracker for tracking people for pumpkin spice Shakeology. So I would recommend doing that now. If you guys are not doing that, if you're promoting pumpkin spice Shakeology, know that it's only a sample pack right now and that you can start making a list of people's order and then their name, their email, and you can start sending out share cards that morning. You know what I'm saying? So let's get that under our belt. Those are the two really big things I wanted to focus on. And again, I'd love to highlight the call on these two ladies. So I'm going to shift and please make a note of something and at the end of the call, we can kind of chat about it. Unless you guys have anything right now, I was just going to pass it over to Jen and Nat. Sound good? So who's starting, ladies? Who'd like to go first? Jen, you're going to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to go first.
Awesome. Well, take it away, my friend. We are so excited to hear from you.
All right. So the way Natalie and I are going to kind of do this call is as if we were teachers working in the same classroom, because that's just how we work. So it'll kind of thread one idea into the other. So what I'm going to start off talking about is going to lead right into what Nat's going to talk about. So Carly challenged us for this call to really, and Jackie, to kind of think about the things that were struggles for us, so that we can kind of do some research on things that were going to help us move forward in our business and evolve in our business. So for me, one of the biggest problems is that I feel like I show up to work every day, and sometimes, and Lindsay Gray's used this analogy a lot. I have this really pretty storefront, the windows are closed, and then I only open it up on the weekends or on my days off, because as a full-time teacher, and I know people have full-time jobs, it feels like that's just the natural time that I can do all the things. So I need to learn how to be able to share all the amazing things that I'm doing instead of me just working for myself and sharing my story with other people. So I feel like I'm working really hard and I'm chunking away and I'm chunking away and I'm chunking away and I'm never getting the big thing open where I'm open consistently. And I've got amazing neighbors on my storefronts. I've got this Mother Hustler group and MagFit on the other side who are always willing to help. They're not competitors, but they are showing up every day and they give me the advice, but I need to take it myself and I need to really run with it for my own business. So that was kind of one of my challenges. So I did go on the Beachbody Champions page and I watched Dani Detra. She's a coach. I don't know if you've heard of her, but I had to pause and not think of how she talked, but what she was saying, because she was kind of driving me crazy with her voice. Sorry. If this is out to her, I'm really sorry, but whatever. I couldn't even do it. But she really put it down as like, if you owned a McDonald's, it would cost you $1 million. So if you just for the building itself, not for your employees, not for anything else. And so you need to, you would show up and you would work so hard for that job. You've invested $1 million. So you would be just chugging away and chugging away and chugging away. And a lot of us tend to, and I know that I have a tendency to do it sometimes, is I show up to my business like I spent $140 on it instead of treating it like I could be $1 million business. So and that comes down for me just to scheduling and really making sure that I'm showing up like I'm a business owner with that CEO mindset and not just someone who likes working out at home. So that was kind of what she said. Are you showing up like a CEO? Are you showing up like a business owner? Or are you showing up like someone who just likes to, or are you just showing up like you're someone who likes to work out at home and showing that? So that's going to kind of lead into Natalie, where we were talking the other night about like how to make schedules and routines work for you. So, Nat, you're up.
Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm super excited to share because, like Carly mentioned, I am home. I'm home this year. I'm not teaching full time. I'll be subbing a day here or there, to keep my network and kind of get out of the house, because, my stay-at-home mamas, it's like, hey, I got to get out of the house because it gets crazy. But the thing that Jen was just going off of, how she mentioned, like, she's only showing up, certain times or certain moments that she does have free. And while we do understand, like, she's teaching full time and she's doing it part time, but something that we did talk about was that if you don't intentionally schedule what times you're going to be, working your business and then working on yourself and also everything else in life, right? Like the housework and the family time. And if you have a spouse, a date night, like when we went to an Emerald retreat, Christina Sullins, who's our upline, this is where I got this from. And I went about, what was it, Jen? Is it a year, 2 years ago? I can't think of my timing about there, but she said, like, she showed us exactly how she blocks out her time for those things, like when she's gonna work out and work on herself, when she's gonna do family time, when she's gonna have a date night because she is married as well, when she works on her business. So I remember sitting there and thinking, like, that's genius, because you block it out, and then even though you're working from home, or let's say you're doing this part-time, like, okay, this is the time that I'm going to dedicate. It's locked in. And she said something like, you make an appointment and you keep it like you're, like you keep an appointment with your doctor's office or whoever, like you make it a point. If you want to get somewhere with your business, you just have to keep those appointments, is what she called them. But she did it with Google, like a Google Calendar, and she just blocked the time out, which Google lets you do, which I can share. I haven't done it on Google, but I like did it old school on like pen and paper. I think that's the teacher in me that just needs to see it visually. But the way that she did it just helps you see, like, and she used different colors. And you just create like a daily schedule for yourself, which is what I told Jen that I did. Now that I'm home, I'm like, okay, I need to schedule it just like a classroom daily schedule. So you guys remember being in elementary school, right? You're like, okay, from 8:30 to 9, I'm in homeroom. And then from like 9:05 to like 9:45, I do math. And then at like 9:50 to like 10:25, I'm doing reading. Like, so just like that, like my teacher brain is working the same way, but now it's for coaching and my business and home life and working on myself. So I did that, and I can put this in an actual like document, make it look really nice to share with everybody, just kind of what I did. But I shared with Jen literally like from the moment I wake up to the moment like the kids go to bed, like what I do within my day, just because I know that that's the type of person that I am, that I need to schedule everything and see it. Otherwise, it'll go to the wayside. It'll be like, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll send those invites later. Or I'll work on my biz later. And that's kind of how I was when I was working full time. Not to say that we haven't also talked about like seasons in your life, which I'm sure we've all heard of. If there's a season where you're just like, family takes priority. Christina Sullins also talked about that. Like there was a season where she had a focus on her daughter and what was going on with that. And she still kept her business consistent by sharing her journey and doing, very basic things to keep her business still up and running. But that's also something that you have to think about. Like, yes, this business is yours and it's, your income producing career, but also, family comes first and you come first also. So that's why she said scheduling your workout and the time that you're going to work on yourself is super important. So I'm just going to share a little bit of like what my daily schedule looks like. And something that you can do is literally sit down and think about what your day-to-day looks like. The first thing that you should schedule if you do have like a full-time job, block that time off, because like if you cannot do any coaching work or anything while you're at your full-time job, then those are the time frames that you're like, okay, I can't do anything else but be at work. If you have a job that's more flexible where you're like, okay, during my lunch hour, I know that I can invite or respond to messages or like check into my groups, then that's something that you would say like, okay, let's say my lunch is 11:30, 11:30 to 11 or 12 o'clock, sorry. Like teachers have like a 20-minute lunch. It was ridiculous. But, you would take that and you would say, okay, I'm going to use a working lunch and do that, schedule that. But then everything else, when are you going to work on you? So like for me, I do like a 6 a.m. wake up and I do like affirmations and gratitude, which is just something that if you're looking for a morning routine and just working on yourself, like, it's always like working on yourself from the inside out, something that we've learned or I've learned along this journey that, it doesn't matter what you're doing for your physical, but if your mental is not there, everything's not going to come together. So I wake up, I do affirmations, gratitude, and then something that after that is I'm growing my Instagram following. So that kind of goes into more detail. If you want more on that, we have a ton of trainings, but just following people that you think that you could connect with for your business. I do that for about 35 minutes in the morning. Then after that, it's like kid time. Wake up my kids, take them to school, do the breakfast, all of that. When I come back, then it's time to work on me. I allow myself an hour to do my workout, get my accountability post up, do right now we're doing morning meltdown. So there's like a journal that we write in, and then it's like breakfast time, right? Do breakfast. But at the same time, I multitask. That's when I do personal development. So I'll listen to like a podcast or a book on audio because I don't have time to read physical books. And sometimes that's really hard, but I found that Audible really helps. So that's what I do then. And then after that, that's when I get into my like working block, which I do like 11 to 1, where I like create content. So like things like meal plans, grocery lists, recipes. I deal with anxiety a lot, so I want to create a resource of things that have helped me for my Instagram followers or people that follow me on Facebook, just content that you know will kind of serve your audience and see you as a person, you know, overall, as opposed to just like, oh, she's that Beachbody girl that just shares her workouts, and when you see her in your inbox, you know what she's trying to like message you, right? Like that's something that I have wanted to roll out. So just creating content and then checking in on your social media. Like that's when you do your conversations with people, connect with them, growing your network, and then responding to any messages that you've had from anyone. So I do all of that from like 11 to 1. It might pour over a little bit after 1 if I know that I haven't quite finished working for the day, because I have technically until 3-ish till I go pick up the kids. But I left like 1 to 3 to like my household, which could also change because I work from home now, so it's super flexible. But just kind of finding that balance, you know, because I have working on myself, working on my business, working on my house, and like after 3, like from 3 to 8 is when I get the kids, and then I do family time, homework, dinner, bath, all of that. And I think that's where I'm really going to try to stay away from my phone and be more present with my family, because I'm like, I get the opportunity to work from home. So if I can just dedicate that time for them and then come back to it after the kids go to bed, then that's something that is really valuable for me. It might look different for you. It just depends on how your life works. Maybe, you know, you don't have kids and you have a little bit more time to keep rolling out more work during the day, which is amazing. But don't forget to schedule self-care time on Thursdays. So my kids are actually my stepkids. They go with their mom, and Thursdays is when I'm going to try to get out to like an outdoor fitness class, or like meet up with other moms for coffee, or like self-care, you know, because sometimes I think we're in the hustle and the grind and we kind of forget to work on us, and that leaves us kind of burnt out, which, you know, when you're burnt out, it's really hard to get back and focus on anything, your family or your or, you know, your business. So just think about how your day goes, schedule out your full-time job if you have one first, and then figure out family time, which I think those are 2 things that are kind of, you know, non-negotiable. You have to be there for your family and be there for your full-time job if that's where you're at. And then just make it work for you. If you have to do it old school, like on a piece of paper where you see it every day, like a teacher, you know, when you walk in and you're like, this is my daily schedule type of thing. Me and Jen laughed because I was like, the teacher brain's never going to go away. But just scheduling that time and keeping that promise to yourself that, okay, this is what you're going to do every day. Not to say that, you know, life happens and sometimes maybe in 2 or 3 months that schedule can change, but for you to rearrange it and just keep that time for yourself, if that all makes sense. And I know I talked a lot. Sorry, that's the teacher coming out. I haven't taught in a while, so I'm like, oh, okay.
Good girl. Oh my gosh. So then we talked about like, okay, so how do we take that idea and start to evolve as a coach and get our challengers to start to evolve too? And I know that we got to a point, or I got to a point this summer and kind of this past spring where I felt like I told my story and my story didn't matter anymore. Like I felt like I was telling the same story. I felt like I kept saying, you know, the same thing. I had significant weight loss, which was great. And it probably it did save my life. But I felt like, okay, you've used that story. So how are you going to take that and start to make it a little different so that it isn't just sounding like that's your pitch, you know? And, you know, I am a bonus mom. So it's like, okay, how many times can I keep telling that? I and keep telling the same thing, that I'm a bonus mom that has a great relationship with their bio mom, the kid's bio mom, but how can I make that, change? So I think one of the things that I started to reflect on was that as a coach, I started to doubt that my story wasn't significant enough anymore to make people want to join me. And that was something that I kind of had to come to grasp with, that my story is always significant and our challenger stories are always significant too. So really getting people to understand that they are their own hero in their story. So it's not about me being the hero for them, they're the hero for themselves, and we kind of help them along the way. So, and I know some other people have recommended, I started reading Building a Story Brand, and it has I haven't gotten through the whole thing, but it's really interesting because the first couple of chapters is just talking about the idea that, when someone's watching you and they're interested in what you're doing, they've got to be able to find a way that it's going to work for them. And I think we do a really good job on our whole team of really connecting to the person themselves, but they kept referring to it as the character in the story is the challenger. We're not the character. The product's not the character. Our brand isn't the character. It's the challenger themselves. So I think that's something that I kind of had to take a step back on and really think about, because I think I was pushing like, I'd be a great coach for you. I'd be this for you. And I think it's got to be more about them. And I think we do a great job of connecting to them, but now what am I going to do to change, the same rhetoric? And that was something that I had to sit back and think about they have a problem. What is it? Is it their time? Is it their weight? Is it their nutrition? We go through those conversations with them, and then we're the guide. We're not another hero to them. And I think that's sometimes the way that some of my challengers might have looked at me. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to join you along this journey, and you're going to be the one that helps me reach success or failure. But really it's them reaching success or failure, and just keeping to communicate that message. So that kind of helped me really sink in the idea that I need to help them, like, rhetoric. Sorry, you make me laugh. You are on a call with teachers. Yes, it is. Good job on spelling it too. That's awesome. See? Epic. This call is epic.
Calling me champ right there. I just want you guys to know that.
Hopefully I'm using it in the right context.
What does that mean? Oh my God.
But that's really what I had to think about.
No, this is awesome. Keep going. This is great. I'm like quoting you right now. Go on.
Okay, good.
Better stuff.
But that's really it. And it's like, they're not going to take any action until they're challenged. Like, we can only get them so far, so they have to decide, where am I going? Not us like pushing them, like, you're going to have success if you keep following me. You're not going to ever fail. It's really, they have to be able to say, I'm ready to take action or not. So that's kind of then leads it back to Nat to talk more about like inviting to the opportunity. Once they've reached a certain point, what are they going to do to continue to evolve as a challenger? Now, hopefully into a coach.
Okay, I'll try not to talk too much. Like, shut me up if I do, though.
Stop it.
Okay, so with what Jen said,
use fancy words.
We basically went off of, we were like, okay, inviting authentically, and then creating relationships with those people is obviously the best way to go. Because if you get someone to like know you, trust you, and then like want to join you, that's kind of the key to it, And sometimes you can see it in a person before they like see it in themselves, is what we talked about too. So with that, like, you just keep sharing your story in different ways and like how this opportunity like changed your life. You know, with what Jen said, she said she felt like, I'm sharing my story about losing significant weight, but I feel like it doesn't matter anymore. Or I feel like I'm a bonus mom who has a really good relationship, but I keep kind of saying the same thing. And I think the way that we talked about in sharing is that obviously your story is not going to change, but the way you tell it does. And that's what's going to attract people to like want to join you. You know, like for example, I'm a bonus mom too. That's why like me and Jen are like we connect or whatever. I'm looking at Jackie. I'm like, is she laughing because I'm talking with my hands? Because I see my hands flailing and I'm like, that's the teacher in me. I'm just like, oh, and I'm Mexican. So we just, you know, all the hand movements. Okay, so I'm a bonus mom, but my situation is completely different than hers. Yeah, the day goes in the Latinas, all the hand gestures. So my story is obviously different, you know, and I heard something in a podcast the other day. I don't know if you guys follow Keisha Fitzgerald. She has a podcast. It's called Empower Her, and she had Trent Shelton, who was a former NFL player, and he talked about how sharing your story, like your pain point, is not only like a benefit for you because you're like, okay, you're sharing this with the world and it's like helping you. Sorry, my husband's in the background. It's helping you, you know, get everything out for yourself because you're working on you by sharing that. But also, he said something that really struck with me, like it's selfish for you to not share your story of your struggles because that could help someone potentially, you know? And that really hit me because I was like, oh my God, if other people or other bloggers that I follow had never shared their story of how they dealt with stepmom life, I could possibly still be where I was 3 years ago, struggling with anxiety and struggling with a very toxic other parent, and our lives could be completely different. And just to go back to our opportunity, if I had never said yes to going all in on my health first, and then secondly, going in with coaching, like, yeah, maybe I would have completed 80-day obsession. It would have changed my physical and my mental and my health. And let's say I never said yes to Jackie that day when she messaged me and was like, hey, do you want, you know, like, would you consider coaching? I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what do I have to do? Like, you know, I have the same reaction that a lot of people have because they think like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not a coach, like, you know. But if I didn't have that part, that accountability, I don't think that I would be where we are now. You know, I would have never gained the confidence. And that's what me and Jen talked about, that within you sharing your story and sharing your struggles and just everything that you've been through is how you invite people authentically. You know, you share like, hey, I went from having debilitating anxiety every single day of my life to knowing exactly how to you know, fix it or, you know, keep it at bay when it does come. Because I think if you have anxiety, I don't think it ever goes away, but you have resources now. And I would have never had the confidence to work on me to be able to change myself in my situation, because in my situation, I have a person that, you know, that's their life, that's how they choose to live. And the only part in the equation is to change yourself. And a lot of times we have a lot of people who look at us, follow us, and they think like, oh, I could never be like you. But with you sharing what you've been through and how this opportunity changed your life just by being accountable and sharing it with the world, like that's huge to letting people in on what this opportunity really is about, you know, more so than a workout program and products. You know, there's so much more to it than just like surface value, if that makes sense.
And we were, all right.
No, go ahead, because I think that's where you go back in.
No, well, we were just saying, like, what makes someone want to choose being with us or being with our team out of 450,000 people? I mean, and we were talking about, like, just look at, like, the Triller video mashups that we're doing and things like that, that showed, like, our whole team chose to, like, evolve in a different way. And you've got, like, top coaches who are now just trying it out, and ours are much better, by the way. If you watched it. They were awesome. They really do. I mean, it shows like we're authentically fun. It's not like we're just doing this to like, I don't dance. I don't, you know, and so how are you going to do it to make it fun? Make it be like, this is where you want to be. Why choose us as opposed to choosing someone else? So everyone else is, you know, selling the same product. Everyone else is, you know, in the same challenge group. So what makes us different than that? And I think like we help people, like our company helps people find out who they are first as a person, and then like what potential that person actually has, even if they don't believe it in themselves. And then how are you going to use that potential? That's the big thing. So, and that's my mic drop. I can't say anymore.
Something else, if I can add. So I obviously did research for our call, Teacher Brain again. So I watched, I follow Keisha Fitzgerald. She's like a really successful coach who I resonate with. And her call was a CEO mindset call. So one of the coaches that was on, she talked about like, you know, just basically talking about your life before coaching, like before Beachbody, like what was your life like as opposed to what it is now and all of the things that you gained from it. Because I think a lot of times we are misconstrued as, oh God, those are just people that like want to like give you products and like wake up every day and be like, oh my God, let's dance and like let's work out. And I'm like, girl, do you know the half of it? Because that's just what they see at surface value. But when you tell your story enough, they get to know you. I had a friend, coworker, follow me on Instagram, and she, you know, I reached out to her, I messaged her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I feel like I know like your whole life story from just reading your Instagram." And I kind of cheered a little bit because I'm like, that means that my story is being told through my feed. And then, you know, they get to see a little more behind the scenes through my story and like what my daily life is like. So that's basically like what we want to share with people. Mm-hmm. That's how we want to invite people. And challengers that are slaying it are the people that you do want to invite to the coaching opportunity, because like Jackie invited me because she saw like I was consistent and I was getting results and I just was overall like a happier person. So when you see that in your challengers or in someone that you know could benefit from this to like change their life, that's when it becomes that much more meaningful and more genuine in your invite. And that's when people can see that too. They vibe off of that and they like can connect with you. You know, they don't just see you as like a product pusher or, you know, something like that.
Sorry, that was my dryer.
I thought it was our timer.
Perfect.
I was like, is it a fire drill?
It's
I
like
said, yes, Carly set a timer. And that was like perfect.
Crushed
the middle of somebody talking. It was so awkward.
That was awesome.
You guys are killing this. I'm like so impressed right now. I'm like, Jesus, this is awesome. I mean, right, Jackie? Are you proud?
So proud.
I am. I'm very proud of you guys. I have a question for you because I feel like this could help people. So I've heard a lot of things, and I'll recap a couple because I have to like quote you guys. But Jen, I got a question for you first, and then Natalie, I got one for you. Jen, if you were to reach out to somebody who like really connected with your story and you just saw something in them and you wanted to join you on your team, how would you invite them to the coaching opportunity? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, I think I would have to give them like just kind of like almost like a shadow. Like I think of them almost like a student teacher. That's how I connect everything in my world is you kind of have to like shadow to know. And either this one girl like, well, I kind of want to see like, what are you talking about when you talk about a schedule? I'm like, come over to my house. I can show you. Like this is literally, it can be as simple as you want it to be, or it can be as complicated as you want to make it. I mean, that's, I think, a lot of the people who, like I kind of with, there are people who are full-time, working. This girl who actually is, she's just decided to stay home with her babies. And I'm like, I got 2 other people that you can kind of like watch because you can't watch me with 2 babies. You can watch people with 3 babies. You can watch people, like little ones, like follow Mandy, follow Jamie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that as they're going to choose to go with Jamie or, whatever. I see that as something that's an opportunity for them to kind of understand, like, how do they do it?
Got it. That's awesome. So
but I still also have to work on my wording.
No, it's okay. I mean, I think it's an important question, and I think it's a cool thing. And I think if I could do anything for anybody on this call right now is just maybe craft up something like, and I am going to share what I would say because I know, and Jen and I have talked about this a million times, but if like when I have seen somebody that I know is ready to be a coach and they have no idea that they're ready, right? Like you just see them doing the things or they possess a quality. Like I would reach out to them and say something like, hey, I know this is going to sound really weird to you. And I know you watch my stories and you're a part of this community, whether they are or not. But have you ever thought about doing what I do? And that's all I say. Because then eventually what they're going to say, they're going to be flattered, right? Because people don't get scared of that. That's like you being reached out to by a principal or on LinkedIn and you're getting recruited by somebody, right? It's not an icky feeling. It's a compliment because they're like, really? Like what? Right? So we have to remind ourselves of that. And you ladies have done a great job at talking about that a little bit already, but then you all automatically also like hear their fears, right? So they're going to be like, well, no, because I don't like dancing in front of my phone, right? Correct. Now you know their fears, which is awesome. So I challenge you guys all on this call before I ask Natalie her question to maybe come up with some wording. You can use mine if you want or use your language. And then Natalie, I love some of the stuff we were talking about. I love the self-care. Shoot, what was the question I was going to ask? Oh my God, shit. It was so good. It had something to do with your scheduling because you're talking about the blocks and your power blocks and all of that. And I loved that, your morning routine. And it was about, it was something about scheduling like your self-care. Oh, I know what it was. So when you're listening to, this is a tough question. Good. When you're listening to personal development, how much of that would you say you're implementing in your business?
So, okay, I listen to podcasts and then I listen to books. Like,
yeah,
Rachel Hollis is my girl. I mean, when I tell people about her and they're like, I don't know who that is, I'm kind of like, because that was me, a few months ago. But one thing that I can share, so Rachel Hollis and her husband have a podcast called Rise Together.
Yeah.
So I listened to it when I went through like my massive transformation, like physical, mental, emotional, when I did 80-day obsession, my husband was doing it too. Just the eating and the, like the working on yourself. And so we started listening to the podcast together. So I'd say that podcast, and not only that one, we listen to like Dave Ramsey because we're trying to do like debt relief, and like we have really worked together as a team, which has helped me personally, like, become a better individual and a better stepmom and a better wife. So things like that, like we sat down and we actually like, we're having a really rough time the past, couple of weeks. It was summer break. I was super stressed because like being at home with the kids all day, every day was new to me. And we were kind of at each other, and I sat down and I said, hey, we need to like just be on the same page. And so we sat down and we like wrote goals, like as a couple and as individuals, and like we posted them up like on our mirror or on like something that we see every day, which is kind of crazy because when he shares with his coworkers, like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean a podcast? What the fuck is a Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Little ears, I'm sorry.
Are you apologizing for swearing?
I don't even know why I said
my
I'm sorry.
child hasn't heard the F-bomb 30 times a day every day.
Yes, that's a teacher thing, because I almost laughed before and was like, oh my God. Well, going back to that.
I love it.
Like, that is how we implement. And then I implement individually as well. Whatever I listen to a podcast, when it resonates with me, I try to implement and be like, okay, is this something that's going to serve me? Like the Empower Her podcast, like I'm kind of obsessed with Keisha Fitzgerald. Like I know you talked about her, and from that one call when you saw her at the leadership conference, I started following her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just like, she just makes you want to be positive. But her podcast, like everything she says, like I just listened to one that's like, are you setting goals, but are you really wanting to achieve them, or are you just saying that you want to do them? And I was like, oh shit, like, yeah.
Correct.
So a lot of the times it makes you think and kind of look at yourself like, am I just listening to all the things, or am I really implementing? So that's a little bit of how I do.
Awesome. Oh my God. I had to throw those questions out there, and just to like, I don't know, it's so cool for me to see this. Like, hey, here's how I'm sitting here, like knowing both of you and how far you have come. You guys sound like people I would join on my team, and I mean that. And I thank you guys for sharing all this, and thank you for rising to the occasion. And that is what fucking leaders do. You guys don't realize this. You have people right now in your challengers that are waiting for an opportunity like this, and they're scared and they're nervous, and they're going to drink wine, and they're going to be sitting in the car with their husband and being like, whatever. You guys, it doesn't matter how much is going on. Once you challenge people and have them rise to the occasion. I mean, I've done it to Jack. I probably need to do it to her again soon. It's coming, Jack. But like every time that I'm challenged, I know it makes me rise above and makes me build confidence. So don't ever forget this about yourself. This call was not about me. I think you guys delivered some awesome freaking value to our entire team. So thank you. Like, being your own hero, like how people are their own hero, Jen, that was killer. Like, I was like, I don't think I've ever even heard that. Color coding your daily schedule. I think it's kind of funny because you guys know I'm working with Doug, but I'm also dating him. And I had a call with his coach, and he talks a lot about color coding his schedule. And he trains like Drew Brees, who he teaches that too, and how colors actually affect your, so maybe we look into that more about time blocking and all of that. And Natalie, you hitting home on that and taking what you've learned as an Emerald coach and applying it. Like, you guys are talking like diamonds. You're talking like leaders in this company. and that you are bringing all this information. You're able to educate somebody else. Don't ever doubt that you can't teach somebody what you know. Seriously. And everybody on the call possesses that. It's just a matter of time before we bring you up on a call and say, hey, you're going to talk to the whole team about it. So thank you guys so much for all that you shared. I really appreciate it. I know that everybody else does, and you killed it, crushed it. I think this call is going to help a lot of people. I also wanted to just say that I also thank you guys all for just inspiring the living crap out of me while I'm going through an ankle sprain and kidney stones again during this launch. It's so awesome. And every day I like sometimes don't even want to look at my phone because I want to work out so freaking bad. Like I have never felt that like, like not that I can't, but it's funny because I just watching you guys all go through this, like you're changing people's lives. And remember that it's not about you, it's about them. And if you're ever scared, like all the stuff you girls are talking about is exactly right. And so I just wanted to say that. And I also think there's an opportunity for us to start inviting to a second wave. Does anyone else feel like that? Like, I feel like people are like now like, dude, right? Like, let's do this. So I wanted to discuss that with you guys because I don't have all the answers, as I'll always tell you. So if we're doing a refresh on the 9th and looking at the schedule, is there a time that you guys think would be good to drop a morning meltdown on some humans? What do you think?
I know it drops in their library October, because I had a handful of people who just could not convey the FOMO of like not doing it early, and they're like, I'm just gonna wait till October.
Right.
Like, no, don't do that. So I almost feel like, I mean, not that some people wouldn't, but I'd also kind of feel like an a-hole being like, hey, pay this extra money even though you're going to get it in 2-3 weeks anyway. So,
well, I don't think we should look at it like that because they're still going to be treated like a VIP, and they're still going to be a part of a test group that's something really epic. So maybe, because I hear you on that, I really do, maybe we can pull out some numbers on how many people are in this test group and we share results. And that is, sometimes people just like that. Some people don't care, but like that could be something that we use, like, hey, you're a part of this bigger test group, like this program launched and this is what you're going to get. And this is how much support you're getting. So maybe we drop some stats. And also, like, why the fuck would you wait on getting help, getting in the best shape of your life? Correct. Like, so don't water that down if you don't need to. Not that we want to, make anybody feel like an asshole, but for real, I think that those are two really good points. That's just what came to my mind. And also I'm thinking about your guys' pockets. I mean, I don't think anybody on this call is here to not make money. So why would we wait to make money? Mm-hmm. Right? It's the reality of the situation. So don't dumb yourself down with that either. Not that anybody is. I'm just seriously looking out because I guess my point, like where I'm shifting in my business, is I really know that there's a lot of people sitting where I was for a long time, like making like a couple $100s for like a year, and it's hard because you're like, it's hard to like keep showing up. It works. Don't get me wrong. If you keep showing up, it's gonna pay off. Right. But I want you guys to have more of a mindset of like, this is how I make income. You're not selfish for wanting that dream. You're not selfish for recommending upselling somebody. You're not selfish for saying, hey, this is it. You're showing something, because if you water it down, then they're walking into a watered down version of whatever. And then that's how they're going to lead people. And you don't want that. You know what I mean? So, we definitely will talk more about this, but I would love to hear some dates too, because it sounds like maybe Jackie's thinking wait till October. Or do you guys think we should drop something in September? I mean, I'm all about it.
When does that, doesn't 6 week or whatever, the new one, does that launch in September?
I think so. Wait, I just looked at my wall. Like, why would my wall know the answer to that? Holy crap.
Because that's a calendar spot.
There is a calendar up there, but I didn't write it down.
Wait, while you think about that, can I add something to what you said about like the income part and all of that? Yeah. I was listening to Rachel Hollis I don't know if it was the podcast or the book or whatever, where she says that, like, a lot of the times, especially as women, like, talking about income or talking about money is like a dirty word or like icky, you know? And when she talked about it, I was like, oh my God. Hi, Ellie! I was just like, it's so true, because a lot of the times I've had friends or whoever be like, oh, well, why, like, are you making money off of me? Or like things like that. And I'm like, no, but I do, through my company, make a commission because I am recommending my stuff that's worked for me to you. So I think a lot of the times, because I've had that struggle where I think about like, oh, I don't want to make it sound like that.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you? You know, like, men do that shit all the time. Like, oh, I make money like fucking selling beefcake shakes to like a bunch of guys, you know, like, why can't women talk about income? Like, why can't single moms talk about income? Why can't teachers boost their salary with a supplemental thing like this? So I think getting into a mindset of like, obviously not shoving it in people's faces, but making them understand, you know, like, yeah, this is how I make a living, you know, type of thing. I just wanted to put that out there because I really resonated with what you said, like, you know, like, and not to say, like, I know what Jackie means about, like, you know, the whole MM100, but also what you said, like, why would you wait to start your health? You know what I mean? Like, that struck me. So I agree with all of that.
Yeah, and I also agree with Jackie because she's looking out for lifers, you know? So I think it's just about you analyzing the conversation and knowing what these people need. And that's where these conversations, that's the magic. Where like Jackie could be talking about somebody who's like already kind of on a health journey. So they're not like life or death. And okay, great. You know, you can wait till whenever. But maybe there's somebody else who's been dragging their feet and they've been saying they'll join you for 6 months. That's when you pull the trigger and say, hey, listen, I really want, and honestly, you guys, when you share your excitement, it'll make people sign up. They're joining you. They don't give a shit about how much it is. They want to know that you have something that's epic for them to invite to. That's why my brain went to like test group. Like, this is the first time it's ever been launched. Like, you get early access before the rest of the world is getting it. Like, being a part of something big is what women want. We want community. We want all of that, right? So that's the deal. Come on in. So anyways, maybe we come up with a few dates and I think the only reason why I create deadlines is because it just helps us hit our goals, right? Hit Success Club. Hi, Ava. The party's here. Sorry.
Go ahead, sing your song.
Hi,
Ellie, everybody. And Ellie's here too. Look at, we got a little. Alec, I just said Ella and Ava because I combined their name. Ellie, can you say hi to Ava? You guys, when should we drop the next launch of Morning Meltdown? You guys help us?
Yeah. Let the kids decide. They'll tell us.
So, anyways, what are you guys thinking? Jack, what were you thinking? Because I feel like you were going somewhere. Bye, thank you.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
That's okay. No, you have a. That's all right. You have a kid in your lap.
I have a climbing animal. No, because they even the prep workouts, they wouldn't get access to that until it's launched, correct? Because it's not like we can even incorporate that.
Yeah.
Mommy, how do I take this off?
Oh, like that.
Oh my God, her speech is so good. She's like a little
what program, but from some program that with the challenge pack, even getting early access was literally only $10 more than it would be just to get a regular. It wasn't even much of a difference. So.
Yay! This is true.
Yeah.
You know, I know that Goal Getters is also like, I think they just dropped, what was it, Monday? Didn't they drop like their second wave or whatever? Or is it next Monday? They did.
Maybe next Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe they're doing like a prep week or something. And that's the thing. I'm open to suggest. That's why I like talking to you guys about it, because you're thinking about things that I didn't think about, of course. So so when does it drop? October 1st? And then there's something else Jen said, right? Let me look at the FAQs. I'm sorry, I don't even know the answer.
Is it called 6 weeks of work or the work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's sometime in September.
Yeah, because I thought they said that would be like end of September, because Morning Meltdown would be, you know, at its over halfway point or something like that.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking if we have them start with something else, like if people are new to their fitness journey, like we almost get them like, we can just put people in the group too, you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that us not taking advantage of a second wave is whatever. Like where my mind just went right now is like, even, you know, starting people with like, I don't know, like a clean week or whatever, and then getting them excited for their prep week and then Morning Meltdown. Like, I just want you guys to be able to make some income and also get people started before whatever. I think they'll be fine joining Morning Meltdown with a prep week and whatever. But if you have somebody that like wants to start now, maybe we just open the door for something like that. And it's just a general group, and then it's going to turn into Morning Meltdown because they don't have access to everything, or they're purchasing whatever. Or it's just that we say, hey, we're doing wave 2, and we freaking invite everybody from Morning Meltdown. Like, do you have anybody that you know that might want to join us? Like, it could be something like that. Like, why aren't we asking for referrals and challengers and, you know, and stuff like that? Because we were talking about this as diamonds. We didn't even do it yet, Jackie, but we're going to try to highlight somebody every Wednesday, like a Woman Crush Wednesday, like a challenger shout out, and then Fridays, like launch products in that group to keep it going, right? And that'll keep it fresh. And like, we can talk about collagen, we can talk about whatever, energize and recover and stuff. But maybe it's invite a friend, and that helps us with like our second wave, and we put a date on it or something. I'm just talking. I don't really have a plan. I was just.
Yeah, I say just pick a date and go for it. Because even if like, so say, you know, we give ourselves at least, you know, like the next 2 weeks to, if we do the refresh on the 9th.
Yeah.
Even if we started prep, I'm trying to think.
The 16th.
If we started the prep week the 16th and then launched on the 23rd, then they'd literally be getting access to it the week after anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, not like that matters. It would at least be close enough so then the people who do want to just wait till October 1st aren't going to feel behind because everyone will just start.
Yeah. Correct. Or we can just put it a week early and just say, hey, we're doing it again on the 9th, because that still gives us plenty of time.
And not everyone's going to want to do the refresh either, so.
Correct. Like, we could just say, hey, and then it's like a double whammy, so we can just make it like one big group and say it's like turning into morning whatever. So it's almost like a double option thing. Like, you guys watch Page Far, like you can say like do this or that. Mm-hmm. And then obviously we're going to hook them up with workouts and stuff. So I guess the only thing that'll be complicated is posting, but do you guys just want to say the 9th and we can just figure out the details? Okay.
Yeah, I like
is that cool? Yeah.
So we'd start prep on the 9th, or day 1 would be on the 9th?
Maybe just prep on the 9th. Like,
okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like a prep week, and then we start on the 16th. But like, we get everybody in there by the 9th. Again, just like the deadline. And obviously we can like run this by everybody else and whatever, but it was just something that I wanted to chat about with you guys. Thank you for the feedback. And okay, well, let's just mark it down. Go for it. And I just want to say thank you again to Jen and Nat have no doubt that you guys will be diamond coaches. You guys are so far in the making. And I know me and seriously, and Jackie and I know what it's like to be an emerald forever and like feel like you're so far beyond an emerald. So just keep working at it. And if there's anything we can do to help, let us know. You want to say bye to everybody?
Thanks, girls.
Oh, okay. Okay, great way to end the call.
Say bye-bye.
All right, you guys, thank you again. Wait, we need a picture. Really quick,
yeah.
we need a picture. You want to be in the picture? Okay, ready?
Get ready.
1, 2, 3. Cheese. Great job, ladies.
Thanks, girls.
Good job, ladies.
Bye.
Bye, girls.
Yeah, I'll post the recording. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye, Messi.
Bye.
Bye.